On a sweltering summer day in Rockville, Maryland, just outside of your nation's capital in Washington, D.C., welcome to Rewards Programs, expert tips on how to increase engagement and attract new members. My name is Todd Tweedy. I will be your moderator for this session today, as well as your moderator for the Motionsoft Technology Summit. The Motionsoft Technology Summit will take place in Baltimore, Maryland on September 13th through 15th. And you are the first to hear that we have secured Rasmus Ingerslev, the URSA chairman, as our closing keynote for Thursday, September 15th. I really hope you can attend his session in particular, as someone who has both been a club operator and actually today just announced the launch of Repeat AS, as well as a provider of technology solutions. I think Rasmus has a very, very interesting insight into some of the challenges and opportunities around technology integration and adoption. I hope you'll take a look. And to kind of incent you to join us, I want to offer executives, anybody who's a director or higher, that would like to attend the summit. I'm going to be giving away 5 complimentary passes, as well as 2 nights hotel stay at the Royal Sonesta Harbor Court Hotel, which is really a beautiful property. If you're interested in attending the summit, please let me know. I'll drop an email here shortly to our attendees today, and we'll take it from there. But first, let's make sure everyone's comfortable using the control panel interface. You should see a control panel interface on the right-hand side of your screen, and towards the middle you might see the word questions. If you could, go ahead and just type in URSA, if you will, just to make sure everybody's familiar with using the interface. Lovely, thank you very much. Excellent. Thanks, Patty. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Kath. Appreciate it. Hey, let me turn things over now to someone who I've been pestering since URSA 2016 in Orlando to join us, in part because Marty Regan is, I think, one of the most established experts in the reward space, and someone who has a very fascinating background. Marty used to be a tow truck driver, but also a comedian, and once opened for Robin Williams. Hey, it's my pleasure to turn over your presentation today to Marty Regan, Director of Sales at Perkville. Marty, welcome to the Motionsoft Technology Summit webinar series.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate it, and hello, everyone. And Todd, I wouldn't necessarily call it pestering. It's just being persistent, and we appreciate that. We're all very busy, and we're excited to be here today. Talk a little bit about reward programs, our partnership with Motionsoft, how that looks, and we're really excited to further that. We have a lot of mutual clients now, and I'm very excited about that opportunity and very excited about the Motionsoft Technology Summit that's coming up too. Very exciting news on Rasmus, Todd. I've heard him speak a few times, and it's always very great, always very compelling. So congrats on that. But thank you also for the interesting introduction. It's not necessarily something that when I say that I got the chance to open for Robin Williams, it was certainly the highlight of an otherwise very bumpy career. You do that one night, and then the very next night you're in front of a bar with 6 people that are more focused on the baseball game on TV than actually listening to what you have to say. So it was fun while it lasted. Certainly wasn't an illustrious career, but I appreciate the introduction, Todd. So today, what we're going to talk about are reward programs. Specifically tips on how to increase engagement inside of your clubs, as well as attracting new members to a reward program inside of your club. So it's sort of an interesting background. I mean, reward programs have been around for a long, long time, as we all know, and they're still a relatively new concept within the health club environment. I always use the example of American Airlines. I fly pretty frequently these days, and I'm pretty loyal, actually very loyal to American Airlines, based exclusively on their reward program. I don't even really like them that much, but I find myself flying them exclusively. Same thing with Starbucks. Actually don't like their coffee at all, but find myself there all the time. That's the power. I like to share that as an example sort of the power a reward program can have. But it's different. Within your health club, I mean, inside of your clubs, your members actually like their experience. They like coming into your club. So tying in a reward program is only going to further that engagement and further that relationship that you have with your members. So what we'll talk about today is sort of how health club reward programs are no longer a nice to have, but are becoming more and more of a must have to compete in today's market. Here's a quick agenda. I promise to keep this light and easy. I know we're all busy people and have our day jobs to get to, so we will keep this light and very painless, I promise. Today, we'll talk about some things, starting with pain points. We talk to a lot of health clubs. We'll talk about the pain points that we frequently see. The basics of a reward program, what we see as, the bare minimum, what you should have in place to have a successful reward program. Some features that the reward program should have, engagement with the members, a social media presence, a referral platform built in. Those are the 3 key pillars that we found. We'll talk about a quick case study of results with a health club that we've been working with, and then we'll open it up to some questions at the end. I will say, though, that feel free to chat your questions in as we go. It's probably more helpful that we get to those as we go and answer those, and rather than saving everything for the end, and Todd will jump in and ask those questions as you type them in. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So starting with club pain points. So we've been working with, we've talked to thousands of health clubs over the last 5 years or so since we started doing this. And there are 4 key things that we've really found are recurring themes in terms of things that we can help with. So one being not enough leads, not enough members being referred to the health club, poor retention. Obviously, retention is quite the buzzword these days, but how do you actually impact that retention in a meaningful way? Low ancillary spend, so those members that are just coming in and checking in and not actually, purchasing any kind of products or additional packages, personal training, small group training, et cetera, once they're inside of the gym. And then little to no social media buzz. Your members, want to post things about your club, they just don't have the ability to do it. So these are the 4 things that we kind of see as the pain points, and what we'll talk through today will kind of answer how we address those through a reward program. So first, we'll start with the basics of a reward program. What you need to do to have sort of a minimally viable reward program in your club. First and foremost, and we'll talk about this first here from the club side, and then we'll talk about it from the member side, but here on the club side, the first and most important thing is it needs to connect to your membership system. In this case, with our great partnership with Motionsoft, we're able to automate this process so you can reward your members for things like checking in more often, what they spend inside of the club by profit center, by category, and then ultimately for referring friends, posting on social media, and much, much more. So it needs to connect with that membership system to automate the process. Anytime you have staff doing anything in a manual fashion, it's just going to fall through the cracks. So that's the most important. From there, you create the reward program, and what we found is effective here is you need to work with a true partner on this, somebody that's all they do. What we do with our clients is it's a very consultative approach when they come to us. They say, we want to create a reward program. We've done some bits and pieces of one in the past, but we just really can't find how to tie it all together. So we'll sit down with them and say, here's what's worked, here's what hasn't, here's the best possible reward program to fit your specific needs. So what you want to do is work with somebody who's focused on that area and is an expert in that area, and it's a very consultative approach. And then from there, what you'll do is you're going to reward your members automatically. Again, this is all going to happen because it's connected to your membership system. You set it up once, you thought it through with somebody who's done this in the past, and members are going to earn points automatically from there. So that's how it works. That's sort of the 30,000-foot view from the club side. Now, on the member side, it needs to be even easier to get your members involved. Let's say, hypothetically, you have a health club and you wanted to launch a reward program. You're launching today. What would happen is all of your members would get invited to join via email. Members receive that email invitation to join. It's a very easy registration process. Once they've registered, they'd be able to access their account from anywhere to do those different bonus point earning opportunities, like posting on social media, like referring friends, and then ultimately redeeming their points when they're eligible. So the basics really are, it needs to be integrated to your membership system. It needs to be very, very easy for members to understand, and they need to have a interface online that they can log into and track that activity. Next, here we'll talk about member engagement. That's really the first and most important thing to do is get your members engaged. I mean, a reward program that doesn't have members using it isn't very effective. You need to get members involved, and you need to get them excited, and you need to get them referring their friends. So how do you do that? Again, we go back to the membership system integration. That's the most important part. It automates the earning and redeeming activity. It rewards what they're spending. You can configure it on the back end. You can even do things like double points for purchases and different challenges and different things that way. It allows for a lot of flexibility when it's integrated with your membership system. And then from there, email is what we found to be the most effective form of communication with members. Every member has an email address on file. If they don't, and they find out you have a reward program that's tied to one, they're going to proactively come to you and update that email address. So this is the #1 way to get all of your members involved. These emails themselves have to be dynamic, so it has to tell them how many points they have in their account, how far away the next available item is that they can redeem points for. The design has to be responsive so that it works in every email client and web browser, and then it has to have a very high deliverability rate. We looked at June 2016 across all of Perkville. We sent out about 4 million, just over 4 million emails, and those emails had a 33% open rate and just over 1/10 of a percent bounce rate. So very, very low bounce rate, very, very high deliverability rate, which is very important because members need to know about their points and these emails need to get to them. And email is the most effective way to actually engage with your members. From there, a web interface that can really tie into gamification. So what you see here is a web interface. Ideally, this would be branded to fit your club's look and feel, which we've done. The member would be able to see their current point balance. They would be able to see all the other great earning opportunities, including referring friends, which is obviously the most valuable to the club. They could see when they're eligible to redeem their points for the different items inside the club as well. And a couple of things I want to point out here, these are some relatively new features for Perkville, but in general, just for gamification, there's two new features we just released. One being the time-based promotions. So not only can you reward your members for checking in, but you can also reward them for checking in during slow times of the day, slow days of the week, even slow seasons. So if you want to get members to come in during that lull, that 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. lull, you can do that and reward them with double points for that, spreading out that before and after work rush coming into the club. And then another really cool feature that we just released is the frequency bonus feature, where you can reward members for checking in, but now you can reward them for checking in a certain number of times in a given month. URSA has some analysis that they've done that the 10 check-ins in the course of a given month is that magic number. So you reward your members for coming in each time, but they get a nice little bonus opportunity if they've come in that 10th time, lending itself very, very nicely to retention. So all those gamification features are going to keep the members engaged with the program, keep them from falling off, really keep them excited, and keep them hitting those different thresholds that you set forth. We talked about the time-based promotions just a moment ago, but the clubs that are having the most success with us are doing this very effectively for times of day, during those off-peak hours during the time of day. Members are loving the bonus points they're getting for it, coming in during their lunch break rather than after work, and really opens up the club during those peak hours if you're rewarding for those off-peak. Lastly, on the engagement front, before we move on, you want a program that's open. That's an open platform that works with all the different technologies you may have in your club already. Perkville today, as an example, we work with several different mobile apps, survey tools, fitness trackers, CRM tools, all the different things that work inside of your club. You want a true platform that's open to working with all the different technologies you are using today, which is going to make for the most robust reward program possible, being completely open and willing to work with everything else that you do inside your club today. So once you've got your members engaged, the next thing to do is get them sort of active on social media. And in the next couple of slides, I'll kind of walk through some of the features that we've created that help lend itself very nicely to that. The first thing here, you can see we have a relatively new feature that allows for your members to actually post photos of themselves inside of the club. This is an example of a YogaWorks. They're a 50-location yoga chain that we've been working with. You can see here they're using this extremely well. You create a specific hashtag, and as long as your members post that picture of themselves online with that particular hashtag, they're going to get points for it. So it's a great way to generate that social media buzz, get pictures of your members on your social media feeds from there. Similarly, you're also able to allow your members to check in on Facebook and post some content, as well as post on or make that tweet on Twitter. So this is a great way to generate a lot of really relevant content, keeping your members engaged. They earn points for this every time. Importantly, though, to note here is that these should be limited to once for every time they actually come into the club, not something where they can sit there and post and try to game the system. This should be limited to just once for every time they actually come in. So you've got your members engaged, you've got them posting on social media. Really one of the most important things that we drive and that any powerful reward program should drive are referrals, in particular successful referrals. So you want a full referral platform tied into your reward program. Members can see that, oh, look, I can get, the highest amount of points that I can get are actually for making this successful referral. Let me go ahead and refer some of my friends. A lot of clubs today are doing the, when you join, if you give 5 names, they're going to give you something for that. But what this allows is for those members that have been at your club for a while, maybe didn't engage with the front desk, this is something where they can go home and refer their friends anytime, either inside or outside of the club. And most importantly here is you want to tie in some sort of nice guest pass, so maybe something a little bit nicer than they can get off of the website. So if on your website you're offering a free day pass or a free 3-day pass, maybe you offer something like a 5 or 7-day pass to the member referrals that actually happen through your reward program. In the case of Perkville, we allow the members to share these both via email. You can send them out directly to your friends via email directly, or you can upload your email addresses from your address book directly into your Perkville account. The second way here is you can actually send these referrals out via social media, and any friend of yours that actually claims that offer will be tracked, and once they show up as having checked in for the very first time, that's when the referrer will earn the bonus points. So in our case, if you were a member referring some friends, you referred 10 friends, 2 of those friends actually end up and coming in, you're going to get points for those two successful referrals, and Perkville knows that because we're integrated with the membership system. But those other 8 people that got referred will be sent to the club as a lead as well. So capturing both membership leads as well as rewarding those successful referrals is very, very important. Lastly, here we're going to show a quick case study. O2 Fitness has been a client of Perkville for some time. They have 12 locations all in and around the Raleigh, North Carolina area. We did a little analysis of their success over the year 2013 as it lent itself to retention. So you can see here at the lower levels, you see less than 1 check-in, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Those are obviously your members that are at the greatest risk, and increasing that number of check-ins is very, very important. So what we did is we looked at both that segment before and after they joined Perkville, and you can see here the increase we had on those number of check-ins on the far right. So if you can get those at-risk members checking in and checking in more often, that's very, very important, lends itself very nicely to retention. And O2 Fitness estimated that they've reduced cancels by 3.5% year over year through using O2 rewards alone. Another slide here, also based on O2 Fitness results. They increased their referrals by 16.8% for the members that prior to joining Perkville and after joining Perkville. So you can see a significant increase in the amount of referrals that they were seeing from the members as part of their reward program. So retention, referrals, and lastly, you're going to see that strong ROI. Here, they also calculated the personal training sessions per month that they saw. What they were doing is they were rewarding for actually coming in and participating in a personal training session, and there they saw a 32.8% increase in the actual number of sessions before and after joining Perkville. So retention, referral, the increased ROI through the ancillary spend. Ultimately, that's how you're going to have the greatest impact and create a very successful reward program. Now, Todd, I know there's probably a few questions that came up. I know we didn't get to too many as we went, but would love to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Marty. Attendees, this is your chance to pose your questions to Marty on rewards programs. And while you're posing your questions, I have a question for you, Marty, to kick things off.
Yeah, fire away.
I'm curious. So when a new client comes in, what are some of the bigger challenges that the client needs to address to be successful?
So you're talking about a new client coming to Perkville, wanting to create a reward program. What are some of the challenges? Is that the question?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, first and foremost, obviously, over the years, there's been the integration, being able to integrate with all the different systems that are out there. And it's taken us quite some time, but, we've kind of gotten the majority of the fitness industry system sort of integrated now. So that was a challenge for years, but that's no longer a challenge. Now, the next thing is, getting everything marketed properly, getting the members involved, and that's ultimately where our expertise comes into play. We walk you through how to successfully market the program from its creation. So you market it to your members, you tell them what dates it's going to be launching on, and then getting members involved from there. If you can get members involved, the rest of the things kind of take care of themselves. That's really where we hold your hand, from deciding that you want to roll out a reward program to actually launching one. We're very, very hands-on in terms of marketing and getting members involved.
What are some of the techniques for getting members involved? If you created advisory programs, for example?
Yeah, so what we do is we have a very sophisticated email invitation system that we've created. So what happens is on day one, when you launch your reward program, you're going to go back and invite members that have checked in typically once in the last 30 days. We don't want to go back too far, with the whole waking the dead component. So we go back about 30 days, we invite all of those members, and then members as they come in for the first time from there are going to be invited as well. And because of our very sophisticated email invitation system, they're going to get periodic reminders. We A/B test these emails very heavily for the best results. So I think because of that system, because of the way we're able to get members engaged there, lends itself to the success that our clubs are having with getting members enrolled right out of the gate.
Awesome. Hey, I have a question from Taft, Marty. And Taft's question is, you mentioned integration into what apps?
We work with a number of different mobile apps today, both proprietary and products that serve the fitness industry. So NetPulse is a partner of ours, as well as fitness mobile app is now called Engage, which is a mind-body product, and a number of others that are out there. We also work with clubs that have built their own apps. They tie into our APIs to create sort of an entirely custom experience for their members.
I have a question from Jessica. For social sharing campaigns, do you have to post directly through Perkville to earn the points? And if so, can we share their posts from our channels?
That's a great question, Jessica. No, so the Facebook photos actually is a particular hashtag that you would create. And then the member would actually post that photo directly on their Facebook page. So let's say it was something like hashtag get fit for summer. You could have that hashtag campaign, and any of your members that post a photo using that would get points for that automatically. You would also then have access to that campaign as well and the photos, to use as you would if you decided to put them on your website or something.
And related to posting on social media, how often can a member post onto a social page through your platform?
Yeah, so the actual Facebook and Twitter postings that they're making through Perkville are only available to them once for every time they come in the club. So if you came in and you checked in, you would have one opportunity to post on Facebook and Twitter. But if you came in and checked in Monday, Wednesday, Friday and went on your account, you would just have that one opportunity. They wouldn't accrue for you. So we do limit the number of postings they can make, but we also do make it so they can post frequently to keep that content fresh.
Hey, Barbara has a question for you. Is Perkville just a rewards program provider for the fitness industry, or can we use your system in another industry?
Thanks, Barbara. That's a great question as well. Perkville is really focused on the health and fitness industry. That's really our core focus. That said, we do have some integrations outside of the fitness industry that kind of complement it as well. So depending on the particular business itself, it's possible we would be able to serve that as well. Be happy to have a follow-up conversation about the specific instance.
Marty, I've got a question in terms of optimizing around return on investment and specifically economic incentives. When do you use them? When should you not use them?
So, I mean, that all comes down to how you structure your reward program. And what we've learned over the years is you ultimately want to keep the cost per redemption down as low as possible in the actual rewards themselves. In the early days, a lot of our clients are tying in things like gift cards and expensive items. But now, what we found resonates mostly with members are things like free passes to bring friends, free personal training sessions, free small group training sessions. We've even gone so far as to create a reward network with some national partners, the likes of Nike and Reebok, where they're happy to offer these offers to us that health clubs can tie in at a $0 hard cost. So there are ways to kind of create rewards that have a lot of value to the member while at the same time have a low hard cost to the gym, which is kind of that sweet spot that we try to hit.
Excellent. Hey, I have a question from Taff who asks, is Perkville different from other retention management, constant contact types of services, and how?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're very different. Perkville is entirely focused on rewarding your members for the different activities that you want them to do. So while we both do have an impact on retention, both constant contact and Perkville, we go about it from a very different way, incentivizing members to do the different things you want them to do, thereby keeping them longer. But that said, I mean, we highly encourage a health club to use both constant contact and Perkville simultaneously.
Nice. And what about when a program, is kind of starting to fade in terms of performance?
Mhm.
How do you kind of revive a rewards program that's beginning to fade?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we've had clients, we have clients that have been with us for years and years. I mean, for the most part, gyms that sign up with Perkville just they don't leave. They stick with us. They're really happy. But some of the challenges are keeping the reward program fresh. And the ways to do that we found recently is tying in these different reward network partners, having a different offer of the month that members can redeem their points for, tying in different challenges and different things that and different gamification aspects to the reward program that help keep it fresh over time for the members. So a lot of really creative ways, both on the earning and redeeming side, to keep everything fresh and keep the members engaged over time.
What about acknowledgement communications and even including leaderboards? I guess, kind of a two-part
Mhm.
question here. One, are you using leaderboards for reward programs? And two, once someone has achieved a reward, how are you looking either at branded content distribution or acknowledging the member's achievement?
Yeah, that's another great one, and we do have on our roadmap sort of some leaderboard functionality that we're going to be looking at later this year and early next. But what the club is able to do, the club is able to run some reports to see who their top people are. You're able to see who your top 100 point earners are. You're able to see who your top advocates are. We define an advocate as people that are doing the redeeming. I'm sorry, doing the referring, doing the postings on social media. So the club does have access to those people. What some really sophisticated clubs are doing are running challenges for their members, and they're actually sharing that data on their social media pages, who their top earners are, and having different contests and different things online for their members. But we're also looking at building some of that functionality into the product in the coming year or so.
So I sign up for Perkville. I'm using an outbound emailer, whether it's Constant Contact, Emma, Salesforce, whatever it might be.
Mhm.
Can I streamline costs by just using Perkville for all my outbound email communications?
Today, our emails are very, very specialized towards just information pertaining to the reward program, and we've kind of found that to be important. You want to specialize, especially with these dynamic emails that we're sending out with all the information pertaining to the points that member has, when we send them, and all of that. So today, we are standalone, in terms of the email communication, and still highly recommend staying with something like Salesforce, Constant Contact, Emma, whatever it may be.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what about updating your data records? How often are most clients pushing updates to their data files for their rewards programs?
Yeah, generally with the membership systems that we work with, it's a once per day sync. So, if you came in today and went to the gym, those points are going to be in your account tomorrow. Just like if just like your airline miles and things like that, your Starbucks app. So it's a once per day sync. However, some of the interactions through the Perkville account are real time. So if they post on social media or when that referral becomes successful, those things are real time, and they're going to earn those points right as they take that action.
Which is interesting. So I'm curious, and attendees, please jump in with your questions here. This is certainly an area that I'm very, very interested in, as you can tell with my endless questions to Marty. Thank you for answering all of these, by the way. But uh, so I'm curious as I look at sending updated data files back to Perkville. How are your clubs syncing their data in part from your marketing communications sequences once a new member joins, just so that those first welcome emails from whoever it might be at the club get there and get their attention first before we start sending out Perkville emails. What's the timing on the distribution of the first communication to a new member who's now part of the rewards program?
Yeah, so our system is automated in the invitations that we send out, letting members know about their points. But oftentimes in the new member email, what clubs will do is tell them about all the different services they offer, including their reward program. So what they'll mention there is, hey, you should keep an eye out for an invitation to our reward program in your account after your first check-in. So it's communicated in advance there. What that does is it's sharing with their members that they have the reward program, and it's going to increase the likelihood that they actually take the time and register from there. Additionally, in that sort of marketing period that we talked about, from the moment that you decide you're going to go with a reward program to launch, most clubs will send out a newsletter to their clients letting them know that they're going to get invited starting on this date. So that communication from the club is very, very important and something that we work closely with clubs as part of the rollout process.
Gotcha. So I'm a multi-location chain. I've got clubs in different states. Are you going to help me manage all the legal hoops and regulatory stuff that I got to deal with in each state that I'm launching a program in?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have clubs in all 50 states and actually 25 different countries, which sort of had the international part sort of happened by accident. We're mostly focused here in the U.S., but yeah, we have experience working in every state across the U.S.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Attendees, again, I feel like I'm hogging the airtime here. Please pose your questions using the control panel interface. And Taft just posted a question. You mentioned you integrate with the NetPulse app. How is Perkville different from NetPulse's reward program that comes with the app?
Yeah, no, that's a great question as well. And what we've been, NetPulse has been a partner of ours for some time. What we've been told by them is, they're going to offer some basic functionality for a reward program, but they're going to still partner with us for a more robust reward program from within the app. So a lot of times, even our integrated partners on the membership system side will have a built-in reward program, but clients that want a more sophisticated program can always partner with us to do just that, and know that that's entirely it's 100% of our focus is actually the reward program itself. It's not just part of what we do. So what we've been told is, there's some basic functionality within the app, but the actual, full-blown reward program partners is Perkville.
Awesome. Let me shift gears here, and I want to talk about participation rates, and specifically within the fitness industry. As a club owner or operator, what can I forecast in terms of my participation rate?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. I'm glad you asked that. So we did a little bit of analysis of our top 10 U.S.-based health club chains, and that's top 10 by number of members. And we saw that we have a 41% registration rate across their members. So 41% of the members that have been invited to join Perkville have joined the Perkville account, which, as you know, is a very, very high number. It's hard to get 41% of your members to agree the sky is blue half the time. So that's the engagement rate that we see across our top clubs. But typically about 30 to 40% is very realistic. We have some clubs that are even pushing it to 50%.
Not to brag, but I do get 100% open rates when I send emails to myself.
Oh, you got it. You open your own. That's great.
Thank you.
The tricky part, Todd, is getting others to open it, though. That's the hard part.
Hey, I'll be here all night. I'll be here all night. Don't forget to tip your waiters and waitresses. All right. I got another question from our attendees, and it shifts more to pricing, and it's kind of one that I'm seeing here a couple of times from a couple of different folks. Give me a ballpark. What am I looking at in terms of potential, startup costs, monthly ongoing fees, and so on?
Well, I'll tell you, if we can get you in today, that changes the equation a little bit. But no, our pricing is very, very straightforward. We're very reasonably priced. Pricing is never the issue with us. It's just more about timing. The timing has to be right for the club to want to implement a reward program, and we respect that. But our pricing is very straightforward. A club with over 3,000 members is looking at $149 a month per club. A club with under 3,000 members is looking at $99 a month per club. And with that, if we drive one referral in the course of a given month, we've already paid for ourselves. And for for all the health clubs we're working with, we're driving a significant number of referrals each month. So, we're driving a positive ROI for every club that we work with, and our pricing is very reasonable, very straightforward.
And look, and I know this next question isn't necessarily fair, but in terms of forecasting, because I like to crunch the numbers. What am I looking at growth-wise, quarter over quarter?
So in terms of forecasting, what we typically do is we take an average of all the health clubs that are using Perkville and the results that they're seeing, and there are sort of three parts to that. There's the retention value, there's the referral value, successful referrals, and then there's the social media value, which we don't really take into account in the ROI that we put together. So we just look at retention and referrals. We average that out across the health clubs we're working with, and apply your membership numbers, both in terms of your total membership as well as your average revenue per member and the average tenure. And we're able to actually calculate what you can expect ROI year one, year two with Perkville based on the average of all the other health clubs we're working with. And we're very, very open with that and happy to share that with any club that's interested in rolling out a reward program.
What about integrating marketing messages into reward notification emails? Is that something you guys recommend or something you discourage clients from doing?
In general, we recommend separating those two. That said, though, in the initial emails, you're able to put some customized content. We do allow you to customize the look and feel of the emails, the color scheme and your logo and all of that. And then in the initial emails, you can also put some custom content. What we do recommend, though, is avoiding anything that gets a little bit too busy, trying to treat the reward program emails as your standard, drip campaign marketing emails. So our recommendation remains to kind of keep the two separate, but they can overlap in some ways to keep members up to date.
And I love lists too. So I'd love to hear kind of the three most common rewards that clubs offer and the three most outrageous that you've heard of.
All right, well, let's see here. So the three most common.
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, no pressure at all. No pressure at all. But the three most common that I would say, a free month of membership is very, very common. That's similar to like the buy 10, get one free concept that's been in place forever. So if you come for long enough, eventually you can work your way towards a free month. Clubs that have sort of a juice bar, smoothie bar, tie those in as well. Those work out really well because there's a pretty low hard cost. And then from there, sort of the free, I mentioned this earlier, but like the free personal training session / free small group training session that's available to them is really common as well, because that's something the member maybe hasn't tried yet, but is also an upsell opportunity for the club. So without actually any kind of detailed stats right in front of me, those are by, the three that I feel are very common there. And then as far as the three most outrageous, geez, we've seen you get to, it was years ago that we saw you actually get to come in and slap the instructor in the face for a certain number of points.
What?
It wasn't yeah, I don't know that it lasted very long. I think maybe somebody redeemed that and it happened and they said this is a bad idea. So that was more of a fun kind of outlandish reward. The highest number of points across all of Perkville is a free cruise for 2 to the Bahamas from one of our largest clients. So, but I do think you have to be a member of theirs for 10 years and to be able to earn that reward itself. So there's a couple examples of some kind of outrageous ones.
Yeah, thanks so much. That's actually pretty cool. All right, Ashley, Cheryl, Emmett, Garrett, Karen, Kimberly, Patty, Robin. Love to have you pose your questions to Marty. Marty, while our attendees are posing their final questions for our session today, give us a framework for tips to be successful. And maybe let's just focus initially on, once a campaign is started, what do you need to do to make a rewards program work?
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's a kind of a great way to kind of sum it up here as we wrap up. But to make it work, you're going to want all of your staff to have, you don't have to train them to know everything, but they should have a general idea, both in terms of what the members can earn points and redeem points for, so that if a member asks, they can answer those sort of questions as they come up. So everybody having sort of a general knowledge of it, and making it fun, making it something that the front desk staff really enjoys talking about, and making it more fun for the members. That's important. Making the rewards reasonable, so you don't want to give away things too quickly, but at the same time you don't want to give away things that take too long to actually earn, because you're going to discourage members. And a lot of the sort of consultative approach that we take at the very beginning is where to find that sweet spot. You don't want to take, members don't want to have to be a member for 2 years to be able to redeem for a free T-shirt. So what are those parameters so that the reward program works both for the member as well as for the club? And then keeping it fresh, keeping it exciting. We touched on that earlier. Tying in new rewards as you go. We're always here to help on that front, and we work with our clients on an ongoing basis on that front. And the last thing really is making it readily available to the members. Maybe posting some information about it in the club, about the reward program, putting it on the website. And all those different things. I mean, Perkville, we're going to fully support all of your members and answer any questions that they have. But having the club with some information on everything as well is very important. So I think those are sort of some of the main keys to success as you roll out a reward program.
Hey, Marty, what a great way to end a really interesting session. Thank you for joining us today. I really do appreciate you spending some time with us at the Motionsoft Technology Summit webinar series and our attendees. Attendees, just to let you know, you will receive a link to the video recording for this session relatively soon, so keep an eye out on that. And finally, the Motionsoft Technology Summit. I'm giving away 5 free passes. If somebody would like to go and get 2 free nights hotel at the Royal Sonesta Harbor Court Hotel, let me know. This will conclude our session today. Again, Marty, thank you so much for joining us. Absolute pleasure. We will see you all again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time, everyone. Have a great day.